Boom, 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 boom. What is up, everybody? It is Thursday, August 18th, and let me just penetrate your ear holes really quick to tell you how much I appreciate the love and support from episode 1. I really don't think that you guys are ready for like the amount of content you're about to be bombarded with. I did not lie when I said I was going to be doing 3 shows a week. Today is the Thursday show. We're going to be covering college football, and we also got to be blessed a little bit. The first half of the show, I want to stay to the college football path, but for the second half of the show, after halftime, we have a legendary person in studio, one of the most world-renowned sports bettors. He's frequently here at Sticky Paws Studios, so I'm just going to keep teasing. I'm not going to say his name till we're about to head into halftime. But the interview was so informative, and it's going to give all you novice bettors a chance to really understand what a pro bettor looks at, and it just ways in which you can save your money and not lose to the house every time. We're talking about a guy who hit 64. I don't want to misquote him. I believe he's either 67 or 64% of all of his football bets last year. And he doesn't bet fucking nickels and dimes either. He bets thick stacks of cash. Unfortunately, we couldn't show you the thick stacks of cash at the end of that interview, but trust me when I say this man threw $10,000 in just the most well-pressed, compacted rubber band wallet makeshift type thing that I've ever seen in my life. And it wasn't just to flex on people, but it was just to show me like how much this shit really is a business. So if you're getting into sports betting and you want to make it a lifestyle, understand that like there's certain things that you have to do, which is, at times walking around with cash that's easy just to go up to a betting window and toss down. You don't have enough time to go to the ATM. The lines are shifting too much, but you will find all that out in the second half. Enough of teasing what's going on in the second half. I'm going to take a quick little break here for our sponsor, this air conditioning company that decided to sponsor me.
I'm so glad we called SOS. Our AC is the coldest.
I'm always the coldest.
SOS to the rescue.
Hey, this is Decoldest Crawford, wide receiver from Louisiana, now playing in Lincoln. When your AC isn't the coldest, you call SOS Heating and Cooling. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition guaranteed. Take it from the coldest. We will keep you cool this summer.
Thank you to Decoldest, and thank you SOS Cooling for giving us that amazing opportunity to run that ad on the show. And thank you for that paycheck too. I mean, millions of people are going to be watching this eventually, and they realize that at SOS. So right off the bat, I don't know how much Decoldest got paid to do that commercial. I can't imagine it'd be anywhere less than $10K, because it's going to be played everywhere. Where I think Decoldest plays for Ole Miss. I don't know. Can you do me a solid back there, Austin, and Google where Decoldest Crawford plays football? Because he transferred. He was at one school and then he transferred to another school. But anyways, I feel like one of the reasons he transferred is like the school's like, all right, we're just going to get you to do an air conditioning company commercial and we can buy you a new car, get a house for you, whatever. This whole NIL thing is getting a little wild. So I'm wearing the San Jose State shirt for one reason. You have it?
Yeah. According to Huskers.com, he's a Cornhusker.
Oh, okay. So I think he was at Ole Miss and then now he's up in Nebraska now. They must love his Southern draw. How good was his? He low-key sounds, without even trying, like I'm not trying to bag on him. I feel like everybody from the South sounds like that. But that just goes to show how good Adam Sandler's Bobby Boucher is. Because that's like, immediately if I close my eyes, I'm like, there's a couple of things he says in there, like cooler.
What do you mean?
You the coolest.
That is Bobby Boucher. He was a legitimate football player. That is just a documentary we saw.
There's no way. There's no way. Low-key, you had me rolling for a second. It's been a good day, and I'm like down to believe anything. So let's just roll with it. Bobby Boucher was an actual person. who didn't get paid. So back to college athletes getting paid with these NIL deals. I'm wearing the San Jose State shirt. Obviously, I stated in the first podcast, my brother plays for San Jose State. So I have like a little bit of a like glimpse into what the world and college football is like right now. And everybody around the college football landscape has been saying it's kind of like the Wild West. There's no rules. There's really no restrictions as to how much a player can earn, the kind of contracts players can sign, so on and so forth, right? Because a majority of the way that a lot of these colleges get the best players is they pay the players in some type of way, whether it's cars, housing, extra stipends, feeding them like crazy. Like they're getting paid one way or another before NIL was happening, and now even more so. It's kind of just like highlighting how many different ways they were all getting paid. So the NCAA themselves, they're pretty much going hands off of this year. From what I've been told from my brother and from what we're seeing around the country, the NCAA really doesn't realize like how to contain this. It's an epidemic of sorts, because what's going to happen to a lot of those lower level colleges that just don't have the donors? So I think now we're going to start seeing a separation gap like we've never seen before in the college football landscape. And it's already happening with the Pac-12, which is actually like back to being the Pac-10, but they're not going to change their name because USC and UCLA are out of there and they're going to the Big Ten in a couple of years. All that being said, you're going to start seeing these college football conferences grow enormously. And one of the things that came out today on ESPN, or which came out yesterday on ESPN, was talking about how the college football playoff board is in discussion with the NCAA about fully, just leaving them, and college football being its own sanctioning body in itself, similar to like the NFL and the NBA, how they're separate associations. Currently, the NCAA houses all sports, all collegiate sports, I should add.
So real quick, so going back to Decoldest and how much he makes.
Yeah.
His NIL, which I'm assuming is the division he's in?
No, the NIL is name, image, and likeness. I should have went over that. So players can now make money off their name, image, and
so
likeness.
His valuation is estimated at $69,000. Hey, nice. So I'm assuming that
$69,000.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that he probably made like $10,000 to $15,000 just for that one commercial.
Yeah, and he's probably on a whole bunch of other stuff too.
Right.
But that's insane, dude. Like now college football players have always been like, there's been this wave that talks about how college football players get paid with education. And yes, they do. College prices like grew exponentially over the last 20 years. So does it equate? Because they were getting a free education back in the day. Back when college was for 4 years, you can probably get it underneath $10,000. Now there's no way you can do that. And are we really going to compare and say, oh, that free education is really worth it? I'm glad these players are able to earn this money. I am more glad that they are thinking about separating from the NCAA entirely and governing themselves. If you have a good commissioner, somebody who is a little lenient on the rules, I think you can see college football almost start to surpass some of these lower level sports like basketball. They'll for sure surpass baseball as far as like viewership goes. And, I always know the more money that's flowing into one thing, the better. There's a lot of money flowing around college football. The last thing I'm going to leave off with here, since I discussed pretty much everything related to NIL, SMU, I'm gonna redo that because it's gonna be a clip. Southern Methodist University, other known as SMU, they have that little red Mustang logo. Their donors are planning on building a pact, combining all their money, which is roughly around $3.5 million a year, in order to pay each player $36,000 a year. I think you're going to start seeing a whole bunch more of this if the NCAA goes away, even if the NCAA doesn't go away, you're going to see an increased amount of these PACs, so to call it, of just donors that are willing to pull up and throw down insane amounts of money just to make the school a little more appealing. Imagine if you're a parent, your kid has an offer from a school that's guaranteeing him $36,000 a year compared to a school that's just saying, hey, if they get on commercials, if they're proactive in sponsorships, they can make money. Which, by the way, these football players, they don't have the time to make money during the day. They literally are at practice in the morning, school at night, and then they're recovering. At what point in time during the day do you have to talk to brands? You know, once football season's going, even after football season, these kids are full fucking time. So if you don't start having these donor packs, you can start to see a lot of these schools lose the race just because they need a marketing department. They need a social media team. They need a sticky paws. We should honestly, Austin, we should honestly think about seeing what we can do for some of these kids to get them some ad deals. Because all it really is they have to have no brand is going to want to promote somebody that has less than 10,000 followers. Facts. It's going to be very fucking hard. So it's the push to do that. But if you're a good personality, you're funny, you've been building this repertoire for a while, toss up Decoldest real quick. Decoldest Crawford is honestly like one of the coolest looking cats in the world. You want to put him on the toss him on the screen here. What a cool cat. That's a cool cat. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to head into halftime. I told you guys we had a crazy interview for the second half. Our interview is with Bill Krackomberger. He is the host of Wisecracks. You guys are going to get doused with sports betting knowledge. Stay tuned, and I'll see you at the second half. In studio today, ladies and gentlemen, I was able to just snag one of the podcast hosts, the host of the Wisecracks podcast. I've seen this man come in and out of the studio for the past year and a half, and I finally had the confidence to put a sentence together, and I said, hey, Bill Krackomberger, can you be on Gridiron Junkeez? And you said yes.
Yeah. It's I'm easy going anyway, though. Confidence to say anything. Say anything you want. I'm a street guy. I'm not.
Okay. So, Bill, what I'll say with confidence is that I've really thought over the last couple of weeks about buying your package.
Oh,
because
cool.
I'm tired of just being a mediocre sports bettor, and I want to be like more precise, analytical with it. Mm-hmm. So, before we dive into all that, I want you to introduce yourself to the people. Who is Bill Krackomberger?
Oh, just a regular guy, man. I got a little lucky bet in sports. Been doing it for 30 years. I was a sucker for many years when I was a kid. Grew up back east, and I was pitching quarters behind a post office when I was 15 years old, 14 years old, playing head-to-head blackjack in a garage with my buddies, and literally I was working on the boardwalk and on the Jersey Shore since my aunt and uncle's pizza place since I was 9, and learning the tricks of the trade. Like my cousin Anthony was a card counter. I went to a card counting class and showed me about some blackjack. Just one deck of blackjack, one deck of cards has 4 aces. So if you're playing head-to-head blackjack, you just keep track of the aces, and you're getting 3 to 2. There's a lot of little things you can learn. And he turned me into a smarter blackjack player at a very young age. And then as I got older, I grew up in a place where gambling was a rite of passage. So everyone gambled. My mother's family were Italians. They all gambled. Their brothers and stepbrothers, they were all gamblers. So my father was corrupted by them. Gambling was in our house from a young age. I was betting those football tickets, football cards at 10, 12 years old. And
what does a football card look like?
It looks like a parlay, a parlay card that's in
Okay.
the casino now. Back then they were called football tickets. They were put out, and you would bet $10 on 4 teams and get 10 to 1 odds, hoping to win $100 on your favorite 4 teams. It's a total sucker bet.
So who who in your family like was most well connected with the bookie? Because I would imagine if you said your uncle was a card counter, you had a card counter.
My cousin Anthony was a card counter.
So,
yeah, and we grew up in a neighborhood of bookies. I mean, we grew up in the whole Bronx, the whole Jersey Shore. I grew up in a little town called Kingsburg, New Jersey, a little 1 mile square town. It was full of gamblers. We used to pitch quarters, like I said, at the post office, flip quarters in woodshop class, and the whole. Everyone on the football team gambled. Gambling was a way of life for us. It was a rite of passage. It's just what we'd done. It was instilled in us from a very young age. I grew up in New Jersey. Think about this. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go.
I grew up where they had literally lotteries, casinos, racetracks, gambling at nighttime on Skillo and Keno. These were games on the boardwalk that you could play. There was the after-hour joints where they had like Ziganet, and these are different games. They're all gambling games, by the way. And even my own parents, when Thanksgiving night, when the kids went to bed, the adults they broke out the cards for gambling. The men played pinochle, and the ladies played gin or poker or continental. So gambling was and it was a fun thing. It wasn't cutthroat at the time.
Right.
But it turns into things because you want to be a big shot in front of your friends and stuff. It can turn into something bad. I actually turned that all around in my life and made it a positive force in my life and making money gambling and being feared by bookmakers and casinos.
Oh, and you are, because when I did a little, I typed your name into Google, and this is the fourth thing that popped up. It was from legalsportsbookgambling.com or whatever.
Right.
And they had you tagged as one of the most famous sports bettors in the world. And let me put some other names around the list.
Sure.
There was MJ, there was Pete Rose,
right.
And as of recently, and I want to know if you've met any of these three, the Jeopardy James Holzhauer.
Oh yeah, Jeopardy. I did a show with Jeopardy James. Yeah, no, I was actually the start of a Jeopardy program. One of the episodes was me and James playing cards together. That was the scene. So yeah, I met him. Real nice guy, very very intellectual. You could see a guy like him, their thought process. They're so much smarter than me, by the way. I am not as smart and don't claim to be as smart as Jeopardy James or a lot of the analytical guys that are actually the guys that are making the moves and making the plays. But yet, a lot of those guys, not James, but a lot of those guys wouldn't be able to sit here with you because they're not socially competent enough to talk to you, or they don't have the social skills to even be on a camera or use deodorant. Or I mean, it's crazy. They can't make decisions in life that are common sense, but yet they're so analytical and so smart, like Rain Man type.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to shift it back to football a bit here. I want to know, based on the recent analytics, change in the NFL, teams going for it on fourth down, I feel like there's a lot of percentages that may have shifted in the football strategical sense. Does that make a huge outcome on the way that you bet football these days?
Well, listen, my betting strategies are real simple. I have the sharpest guys in the world around me that scour the internet pages and scour the social medias, and also not only that, they follow the beat reporters. Very important now during preseason to follow those beat reporters of the actual team, and they know what's going on inside and out of that team more than a national person on a national, like USA Today or something. Those are very important, but you also want to know the quarterback depth chart, how many quarterbacks there are going to be playing, and you want to know literally the coach's motivation to see if they're motivated enough to win or they don't care about preseason. Baltimore won 21 games in a row preseason. They like to win. Certain coaches don't care. They treat it like, I don't care what happens here. So I don't mean to take your question in a different direction, but I'm using it to the current market right now of what's going on. But my guys are going to know. They're going to be on top of any rule changes or any kind of, they move the kickback 10 yards or maybe there's more going for 2 or fourth down. My guys are on top of that.
Yeah,
we crushed last year, so God.
Yeah, no. We it's very interesting that you brought up backup quarterbacks. Our engineer Austin back there on episode 1, I asked him if he can name the backup quarterback for the Chargers, to which he still has not found out. I don't even know. But that's one of those teams that goes for it a lot on fourth downs too, right. And they were in a lot of close games towards the end of last year. Is there any correlations that you've been seeing with the Chargers in particular?
Man, That's one team that has really killed me. When Rivers was the quarterback, I can't tell you. I know everyone loved Rivers. I can't tell you how much that guy cost me over the years. It's really the sore spot. If you had to pick one team in the NFL, it would be the Chargers. But yeah, so you have to know the coach's motivation behind that. Will they go for it more? Will they try to pump up their team? There's a lot of self, motivation that makes literally the coach of the team. He's your leader. They're gonna be so excited around a guy that's so aggressive. He wants to win so bad. Maybe going for it more on fourth down. So it's interesting.
So theoretically, based on what you're saying, the toughest coach that I know might be at this time Dan Campbell and Detroit.
Yep.
I don't even know what their expected win total for the year is, but they were in a shit ton of games last year. I can't help but to think, based on just motivation alone, that they might shock some people.
When you say in the games, do you mean what I'm going to say here? They were literally, they could have had 6 more wins.
Agreed.
They were in every game. I mean, point spread wise, I don't know where their record wind up in, but this team was really unbelievable against some big teams too. They were winning one game. I can't think of it, the actual game. They were winning a game off of being like a 14-point underdog the whole game and lost it at the end. But they were winning that game. They're a really that coach really has them going, and people were talking about him. It's funny. I bet Atlanta first week. I think they played Detroit preseason the first week, and there was information on both sides of the counter there. Actually, Detroit got a lot of action at the end based on Campbell putting something out on social media. So
really,
it gets to be interesting. Yeah, it's cat and mouse too. Yeah.
Okay, so what is like a trend? Do you follow trends? So my uncle's a huge sports bettor, and I called him up before this show, and I said, "Hey, Unc, we got the Crack Man in studio. I need a question from you."
Yeah.
And one of the things he was just saying is like, do you follow trends? And I know trends in his eyes are like, a team winning multiple times on the road and a certain type of in the part of the month. Let's say like they're a December type team. The team over the past 3 years has been, struggling early on in the season, but they seem to trend upwards during a certain particular part of the month.
Not trying to insult your uncle?
Yes.
Not trying to insult your uncle. Trends mean hardly anything. The public knows about them. The bookmaker knows about them. I love when I hear someone saying, this team has beat this team 10 of the last 11 times. Well, this team is not the same team that they were 2 years ago. Or, you're using 11, 12, whatever you're using the last 5 years. It's a total different makeup. It's a situational. It's nothing to do with the variance that comes out. I could take a quarter out of my pocket and flip a quarter 100 times. During that 100 times, I may get a team. I may get heads 10 times in a row. 10 times in a row. The variance of a 100-time coin flip, 50-50 is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's always going to come out differently. It's very rare that it'll come out 50 times heads,
right,
50 times tails. So you'll have variance. If I do that and put that on a computer simulation program and do that now 1,000,000 times, you're going to find streaks of times where 26 heads of 27 heads, 26 of 27 come out heads,
right,
or 25 of 29 come out tails. You're going to find those variants in there over time. It means nothing. The public that uses that, these guys that are on, sports betting being legal now almost everywhere, it brings a lot of people out to talk about sports betting. And now, listen, here's the bottom line.
Let's hear it.
I have been a sports bettor before sports betting was in style, in vogue. Happy to be. I was a sports bettor first, a media person second. These guys were media people first. Now sports betting second. So they're scraping for any little thing they can get. Trends, factors. It's to be honest with you. If you're not on the inside, you're on the outside. So I know they have to have things to talk about. I know they're ex-coaches, ex-athletes, commentators, been doing things for years, and they want to try to make themselves look the most educated and the most.
Now,
and I have nothing against that though, really. But I hate when they put bad information out there, and I hate when someone picks a team and they're going to kill them or this is a lock. There's no locks in life.
Right. No. And you think it's just a bias, because I would say as a counterpoint that a lot of those ex-players or coaches would have inside knowledge, or they might be really well connected with people inside the facility. But at the same time, is their opinion validated because they may be biased towards their friend or, things like trends.
There's no inside information either. I don't care if they coach for years and now there's no inside information. People always think that they should have won their game. When you watch a football game, I could sit down with you. Well, not me, but you could sit down and your producer here could sit down and bet opposite sides of the game for $10. By the time the game's over, you're going to say, oh, I should have won that game. Man, if that fumble didn't happen, if that interception didn't happen, if they didn't go for it on fourth down, he's going to say the same thing if he lost it. I could have won that guy. I should have won that game because of this, all these different variables. You only look at the game from the side you're betting. You never look at it from both sides. That's what brings you back because you almost should have won. And next time I'm going to kill him. And next time you want to double up and triple up. And the late game, I have to bet it because it's on TV. Listen, I hardly even watch any of the games. I will watch the NFL with my buddies. I enjoy watching some NFL now with my buddies and coming to town. And I go to Atlantic City a lot because sports betting's much better in New Jersey than it is Nevada, believe it or not. It's another whole subject.
Okay.
So I'm there half the year anyway. But listen, this is a business to me. When the game's over and it doesn't matter win or loss, I know in the end I'm going to win more than I lose. I'm going to hit 55, 57%. It's going to make me a hell of a lot of money at the end of the year. It sounds like a low number, but you just need 52.38%. I need even less than that because I have so many different sports books. I have reduced juice. I have specials. I have bonus money involved. So when I hit 57%, it's going to be a giant year for me. And last year in the NFL was a ridiculous year where
Absolutely.
I hit
we talked about
almost 64%. It's ridiculous. I don't even usually talk about it because it sounds so hard to believe.
Right. No. But you're also you're a wholesome guy, right? And we were listening to, was that Vegas Dave's video you were playing in the hallway earlier? Or
Yeah, well, someone tagged me on it, so I just
just the absurdity to literally have the confidence to say I went undefeated in any sort of type of bet is fucking absurd.
It's
I'll say it for you.
It's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
That it comes across, and I did this. I'm thrown out of sports. I'm the only one banned. No one's banned. Yeah, okay, Dave. I wish I was not banned in so many sports books. I did this. I did that. I did this, and all of a sudden now, it's they see I'm the most successful. I'm a multi-millionaire because of You're a multi-millionaire because the customers you have, and not from winning sports. I mean, let's face it. If he bet everything that he gave out, he'd be a losing bettor. So it's just the idea. And then to say he's unbeaten at baseball this year. Oh God.
It was kind of fucking it was a weird moment in the hallway because everybody, even Trey, one of the interns here who doesn't know a fucking lick about sports, was like, "Oh yeah, no, undefeated in anything." That's pretty ridiculous. I got 2 more questions here and then I'm going to let you get out. Live betting football games.
Yep.
Is there a methodology behind trying to get the bets in quicker? Because you get stuck sometimes in them flipping the odds during commercial breaks and stuff. And I know you had mentioned some stuff before. What are your thoughts on live betting? And is there any like sort of way to beat it? Yeah, edge.
Okay, it's funny. I was just talking now to a live betting group. They absolutely do beat the NFL betting and live wagering on even college football and stuff. Even though you're laying more juice, there is definitely some competitive edges to that. So I've seen a couple of groups now tell me how they've beat live wagering. So I think that, yes, it is beatable. I don't play it myself. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to give some recommendations if you do play it during commercials only. Do not play during the game. You're going to be put on delay. When you put a bet in, first of all, you have a 7-second TV delay. You're watching something that the sportsbook has 7 seconds earlier. Now there might even be an AM frequency feed that they have piped into the casino where it goes right to the games, and you may have a 12-second delay. So I'm not saying anyone's cheating or anything, but I'm a cynical guy, so I'm only betting during commercials. I'll tell you that right away. And also, I'll give you a perfect basic strategy. So let's say a big team's playing a little team. Let's say they are. Let's say I don't know. Someone's playing the Lions. A big team playing the Lions. There was a 14-point favorite last year. I'm trying to think of who they were.
Packers.
But let's just say I'll use your Packers. Let's just say the Packers are playing the Lions. So they're a 10-point favorite, and the Packers score first. So you're watching the game, and it's 3 minutes in. The Packers went right down the field. Rodgers, unbelievable. And all of a sudden, what's every swinging dick in the sports book betting? They're betting The Packers.
Right.
Well, man, they're going to crush them, man. Oh, my God. I got to bet the Packers.
Flew down the field. First drive, of course.
There's a built-in advantage just taking the Lions because they're already going to skew the line because they know which way you guys are betting. They know the public's betting their $50 and $100 in volume on the Packers because what they just seen in 3 minutes.
Right.
And in the end, that's the wrong way to bet. The other side, put yourself in the shoes of Joe Public, which you might be. And what's the natural tendency? We have our human nature, our human makeup is to bet the favorites, bet that team that's scoring. No way the other side's right.
And
long term, they may win. The Packers may blow them out, but
right.
Long term,
because you get those, huge numbers early on. So I would imagine, the lines particularly just move with the flow of money, right? So if more people are pouring money into the Packers, then the line would raise in the Packers' favor.
Right, but already they're going to have that line skewed. So after being up 7-0, and they're a 10-point favorite before the game, the line now is going to be Packers minus 16.5, or you may get the square book 17. Taking the dog is the right number there long term.
I agree with you on that. So like the only that I guess in the sense of card counting, this is like how I would connotate it. I can do that for football in possessions in a half and understanding a team's, mentality behind the way that they drive the ball down the field. Are they a team that runs the ball heavy? The clock's going to theoretically run less possession, so I can kind of try to edge it out, but it's interesting that you say there is a particular edge if you're on top of it.
Yeah, no, there is. I've known 2 different groups now that have beat live wagering, so it's definitely beatable. But it's hard. You have to stay on top of your game there. If you're betting live wagering, you have to stay on top of the information. You have to have literally your live stat charts up. You have to know what's going on. You have to know NBA. You have to know who's in foul trouble. There's so many different factors, but there's some real guys that are doing this and are making money at it consistently, getting thrown out of sports books. So it's interesting.
That's amazing. Prop bets to watch this year in the NFL. What are some that you like to hit regularly?
Well, like I have bet a ton of prop bets already. Believe it or not, I bet so many prop bets on unders, on player props. They're season-long player props, though. Ooh. So you have to tie your money up for months, months, and months. But there's a natural built-in advantage betting unders. You're saying that that number that comes out is based on a player playing 17 games.
Right.
So, you get a little knee injury, a little bump, you're out for a week or 2 or 3. It's a built-in advantage betting unders. I'm not an over guy. I bet unders on season-long props. I don't bet a lot of futures. I'm not betting the team to win the Super Bowl and into the hold on those kind of games are. The hold on those type of bets are like 25 to 50% compared to a straight bet, betting a game straight, Team A versus Team B, it's 4.5%. I'm not looking to tie up money long term. Yet, I have done it. I did it last year in the Major League Baseball. I tied up some money on
Ohtani, right?
Ohtani, yeah. I don't know how you knew that, but you're right.
I just remembered.
Yeah. No, I gave it out to all my crack wins guys, too, at 30-1. So I did tie up money on that for the year. I'll do that. I'll have some season wins here and there, over-unders on season wins. And I'm at the point in my life where I can do that now, and I don't have to worry about bankroll management as far as that, because I know that I'm well betting within my bankroll, tying up this year's 6 figures tied up already.
Yes, sir, Bill. God damn it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to fucking buy the package. Jesus.
I'll give you one last thing. Go.
So this is a part of the podcast that Bill wants me to take out, and I'm going to respect his wishes. Just know that what was on camera was just some of Bill's winnings. It's not even what Bill wins. It's just what he walks around with to win, and make 6 figures a year. I mean, he at least said that, so I can in confidence tell you that Bill Krackomberger is a very wholesome guy. He's not flashy in any sort of sense of the way. A really stand-up individual, but unfortunately he wants me to take out that part, so I'm going to respect his wishes. Thank you guys for staying through the and Bill, it's been a fucking pleasure, man. Thank you so much. If you want to shout out your website,
crackwins.com, crackwins app, and you get all your plays on that. Like I said, I showed you guys those moves literally sent out 2 plays this week in preseason. By the way, last week was 5-1 preseason. Sent out all the plays, and they've moved 3 to 4 points already. So if you have the Crack Wins app, you get a notification with the plays, and literally they'll, you got to be ready. I like I told you, you got to be ready. You literally get the plays right to send to your phone, but you have to be ready.
You got to be quick.
You got to be,
because Crack moves the fucking line.
They're going to move. My guys are going to move them. So
that's amazing. Well, alrighty.
Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to have Bill Krackomberger in studio. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode of Gridiron Junkeez, and I'll see you on Saturday.